You like to feel the gentle breeze as it cools you down. But what if that gentle breeze turns into disaster? In one moment, you are enjoying life while walking the streets of your city, while in the next, that same city is at the mercy of one of the most dangerous weapons of Mother Nature. It has another trick up its sleeve with which it can play with human destinies. Big, fast, deadly. These are just some of the characteristics of this calamity. Today, we will introduce you to a dangerous phenomenon that does not fear anything, which, when it appears, leaves ruins and carnage behind. We've all heard of tornadoes, but do we know the real truth? What exactly is a tornado? What are tornadoes? A tornado is a short column of air that emerges from a thunderstorm and spins erratically before reaching the ground. Since wind is invisible, it is difficult to see a tornado unless it creates a condensed funnel out of dust, debris, and water droplets. Of all the atmospheric storms we encounter, tornadoes can be among the most feared events. They come in different sizes, many as narrow rope-like swirls, others as wide funnels. Tornadoes may be spotted from miles away, all across the plains. Yet they are sometimes concealed in wide swaths of rain and hail in the southeast of America, particularly in Georgia, making them much harder to spot and more destructive. Do you want to know how a tornado forms? Stay with us, because in the rest of the video, you will find out everything about it. How do tornadoes form? Only under certain wind conditions can a thunderstorm produce a tornado. Air rising in a thunderstorm can begin to spin when it's impacted by winds moving it in different directions. When it begins to rise, the wind pushes it to one side. It rises a bit more and is jostled again by wind moving in another direction. The rising air begins to spin due to winds that are blowing at various heights and at varying rates and directions. Air that spins as it rises is unusual in a supercell, the fiercest form of thunderstorm, but not all spinning air causes a tornado. Moreover, there has to be spinning air close to the ground for a tornado to develop. This occurs as gusts of storm air spread over it after sinking to the ground. Gusts of warmer air rise and gusts of colder air descend as they blow across the ground. If there are enough rising and sinking gusts, the air near the ground starts spinning. When it is dragged inside and closer to its axis of rotation, the spinning air near the Earth accelerates. This happens in the same manner that figure skaters spin quicker when their arms are brought in rather than when their arms are extended. This is referred to as angular momentum conservation. The spinning air flows horizontally over the ground and can be tilted vertically by the force of the rising, rotating air. This enables a tornado to develop. One would hope that we have a way to predict this fear-inducing concoction made by Mother Nature. Can we predict tornadoes? Finding locations where conditions are conducive for the development of strong thunderstorms is the first step in predicting the potential occurrence of tornadoes. Crucial components for the occurrence of such storms include cold, dry air at intermediate levels in the atmosphere, overlaid over a layer of wet, conditionally unstable air near the surface. Upon the warm side of the boundary line, or front, that separates cold, dry air from warm, moist air, conditions frequently favor thunderstorm development. We have to share another trick up our sleeve with you. You deserve it. What are the signs of a tornado? Through years of research, we have come to the conclusion that there are some signs of a possible tornado. The first hint that you may get of an incoming tornado may be clouds going by swiftly, which is a sign of severe winds. In addition, the sky may have a tinted dark greenish color or greenish yellow due to the atmosphere. Frequently, the clouds will turn a greenish tinge because of hail, and this may trigger thunderstorms. You will witness a wall cloud or a lowering of the base of the thunderstorm. If the wall is spinning, you should take extra precautions. Tornadoes can form after strong thunderstorms. Very intense thunderstorms can create huge hail. The hail production of the thunderstorm might actually generate the tornado. Even if a tornado is not visible, you can search for a debris cloud, which will identify the position of the tornado. If you see funnel cloud, revolving expansion of the cloud base signifies the development of a tornado. The boom of a freight train has been compared to the powerful rumbling sound of a tornado. If you notice any of these signs, you know what to do, right? If you're thinking of taking out your cell phone and taking pictures, you won't be among the living for much longer. Your only option is to run and find shelter. Are you wondering why? Now you will find out. Usually, if a funnel cloud is approaching, the region will be pounded by rain and hail before the actual occurrence. If the wind changes its direction, the rain may start to pour swiftly and then abruptly cease. When this happens, exercise particular caution, since debris will also be picked up and deposited by the wind. World's largest ever recorded tornado. The El Reno tornado, which struck Oklahoma in May of 2013, is regarded as the biggest and strongest tornado ever documented in history. It was as broad as 2.6 miles or 4.2 kilometers, and it traveled at a speed of 302 miles per hour or 486 kilometers per hour, according to the accounts. The El Reno tornado was the largest reported tornado in history, and it was part of the broader weather cycle that created hundreds of storms during the preceding days near Oklahoma. The tornado stayed primarily on open ground, so it didn't hit many buildings. It lasted for about 40 minutes. Local damage caused by largest tornado. At the end of the El Reno tornado, 8 persons, all of whom were traveling by cars, had perished. 3 of those individuals were experienced storm hunters. Almost 150 people were hurt by the El Reno tornado, in addition to the fatalities, along with a lot of buildings that were located in that area. A lot of people welcomed the new day on the street because they were left without everything, but they were grateful because they survived one of the worst weather disasters ever. In the end, everyone realizes that life is the most important thing. Everything can be replaced except that. Trust me, it is wise to know roughly the places where tornadoes most often occur, since I doubt that any real estate agents will warn you about it. But don't worry, we've got you covered. Where do most of the tornadoes occur? Tornadoes occur in many places of the world, including Australia, Europe, Africa, Asia, and South America. Even New Zealand reports about 20 tornadoes each year. Bangladesh and Argentina have 2 of the world's greatest tornado densities, but the number 1 place goes to the USA. That's for sure. About 1,200 tornadoes hit the US yearly. Official tornado records only go back to 1950, meaning that the number can be even higher. Additionally, there have been significant changes in tornado spotting and reporting techniques over the past few decades, which means that we are seeing more tornadoes that actually occur. After we know the locations where they occur most often, the second thing we need is the time in which they occur. In which time period are they most common? It's a bit pointless to know where they occur and not when, isn't it? When are tornadoes most likely? Tornado season typically refers to the period of years the U.S. sees the most tornadoes. The peak tornado season for the southern plains, for example, Texas, Oklahoma, and Kansas, is from May until early June. It happens sooner in the spring on the Gulf Coast. The northern plains and upper Midwest experience their first tornadoes around June or July. North and South Dakota, Nebraska, Iowa, and Minnesota. Yet, remember, tornadoes may come at any time of year. While they can strike at any moment, most tornadoes happen between 4 and 9 p.m. You heard it right. It can always happen, so always be on alert. The question is, can we rely on something other than our instincts? Technologies for tornadoes. The weatherman is surprisingly good at telling you what will happen in the coming hours, and the forecasts are pretty accurate for about 24 to 48 hours. But one thing that has remained in the Stone Age is tornado detection, which still relies on human spotters, who call into a station after a funnel cloud has been seen. This approach leaves much to be desired, which is why a team of physicists are seeking to employ equipment primarily developed to detect nuclear weapons testing to hear impending storms instead. The best that technology can currently do to detect tornadoes is to make predictions about which storms are most likely to produce one. Doppler radar systems can detect tornadic vortex signatures from great distances, but they cannot quite tell if a tornado is about to form or if one is going to be created by the particular storm at all. Don't worry, we'll give you some tips on how to stay safe if you find yourself in such a situation. First tip is to try not to find yourself in such a situation, but if it is still going to happen to you, then we have a couple of solutions. How to stay safe during a tornado. Most injuries and fatalities during a tornado are caused by falling and flying debris. There is no area that is fully safe during a tornado, yet certain places are safer than others. Go to the lowest floor's basement or an interior room without windows, bathroom closet, or center hallway whenever possible. Whenever possible, avoid hiding in any room with windows. Go beneath something solid for further protection, a heavy table or workbench. Use a blanket, sleeping bag, or mattress to enclose your body. Protect your head with whatever is available. Avoid lodging in a mobile home. If you are outside or in a mobile home, find a nearby building, preferably with a basement. If you're in a car, do not try to flee a tornado, but instead reach the next substantial building. The severity of a tornado cannot be predicted before it makes landfall. Thus, it is important to monitor local weather reports, especially when thunderstorms are expected. Prepare your home and family in case of a tornado. When everyone knows where to go, whether inside your home or outside, moving to a shelter quickly is easier. Following these tips will give you the best chance for staying safe. Well, we know that you were blown away by our video. Jokes aside, we hope you learned something new today with us. If you did, make sure to check out my channel since we are just getting started. Thanks for watching and hit that like button and subscribe.